Hi, my name is Mark Biernat. I'm a PhD, actually in economics and finance. And in this video, I want to talk about my 28-point peace plan. Okay, I know there's a lot of buzz going around about a 28-point peace plan. They want to use it as a starting point to start to negotiate. I would throw it out. I'd replace it with mine. I think I'm pretty intelligent. I've, studied Soviet Union and Russia. Probably, over 50 years, let's be honest. And I have a PhD. Like I said, I'm an academic, but I've been in the real world. And I've thought about these things. I wanted to study philosophy. My parents flipped out, so I kind of cheated and studied economics, which is a worldly philosophy. And before I talk about that, I want to talk about something about CD47. What is that? CD47, if you know anything about the immune system and something called do not eat me signs your body puts up. It puts up these huge billboards that says, do not eat me for healthy tissues. But when you have invaders, sometimes invaders hide behind do not eat me signs. So it goes under surveillance and the immune system can't attack it. But luckily, the immune system with, if you look up CDK4/6, can cross out the not and say, put up an eat me sign. And the analogy here, the metaphor here is simple. We're talking about the body of humanity. And the body of humanity has been infected with the ideas of despotism and oligarchism. And it needs to be pruned out to make humanity a better place. My peace plan, and I hope somebody would ever take it seriously, is based on making the world a better place for humanity, for Ukraine, for Russia, or what will be the future of the world, for all of us. Because I don't believe in this economic nationalism or all this nationalism nonsense. That was the 20th century and before. Here's my peace plan, and I hope somebody listens to it and uses it as a starting point. Maybe we alter it and make it better. 1, withdrawal of all Russian forces from occupied territory, including Crimea. Makes sense. I don't see how you could ever have any argument with that, because anything else would be not action based on justice, truth, peace, and even God, but action based on aggression and brutality and bullying. Number 2, respect Ukraine's borders. All territory will be guaranteed by a League of Nations. Number 3, war crimes accountability. Take the Tsar and all his minions who committed any type of war crimes and put them on trial at The Hague for all to see and witness and understand. This increases the awareness of humanity because it's the surveillance for the immune system, in a sense, that is important. When people are on the wrong side of histories, and the term is useful idiots, people who are speaking in convoluted ways that try to apologize for Russia or sympathize with Russia, what they're doing is they're putting do not eat me signs up. Okay? So this accountability, this war crime trials are very important, and they should be just and fair. Return of Ukrainian children, of course, and civilians. Children are our future, and they must always be treated with sanctity and respect any innocence that they are. We have to protect the children. I don't know why it's not on the front page of every news, headline every day that children have been abducted, and who knows where they went. Did they go to China to something, as favors? Who knows where they really went? We have to return these children. They have to be identified and treated with long-term psychological and spiritual healing. Point number 5, Ukraine is free to join NATO. Why not? Any decisions Ukraine makes should be an internal decision. NATO, a peaceful alliance. I mean, come on, Denmark, Finland, Sweden, people like, countries like this. It's a peaceful alliance of people that just want to be left alone to have democracy and transparency. Ukraine should be free to join the EU. Why not? Free movement of labor and capital. I'm an economist. Economic borders. The less they are, the less there's nationalism and the rise of this type of dark energy. A comprehensive reparations plan for Ukraine. I don't care what it is. You could dismantle the entire oil and gas industry of Russia and just gift it to Ukraine. Or better yet, just transfer a tremendous amount of work where the soldiers that were fighting on the front line would have to, as part of their service for, doing that, they have to spend 5 years rebuilding Ukraine or something with their hands. Because, it's very easy to destroy something and very hard to put it back. And, if you've ever had a house or you build something yourself and any destruction comes to it, it really is a tragedy because it's any productive effort, including money, is a store of value. I like the idea of having, kind of as this community service for Russia, acting on aggression, having some community service in Ukraine, but also financial. Having a global peace fund and climate fund lawfully seize Russian under St. Thomas Aquinas. Anybody disagrees with seizing Russian assets, I think they'd have to argue with St. Thomas Aquinas. Look about what he wrote, the greater good, and his justification. Use it for protective extraction, global peace and climate recovery, and climate action in vulnerable communities. That's why we have something called externalities and common goods. I can't put a plastic factory up spewing plastic toxic VOCs right next to a school, okay, because we have shared goods in this world. So when Russia extracts and everybody burns it, there might be more flooding in, poor areas. We've got to use this fund to compensate. Dismantling of the current Russian imperialist system. How's that worked out for the last 500 or 1,000 years, right? Russia as it currently exists should not exist. It could be totally dismantled. The Spanish Empire was dismantled. The British Empire was dismantled. The Prussian Empire was dismantled. The Holy Roman Empire turned into something new. I mean, what's wrong with making the world a better place? Okay? So it would be replaced with decentralization, human rights, general, transparency, and a nonviolent process. Deep democratic reforms in all the areas that would become Russia. I mean, basically anything other than a radical democracy of freedom ruled by the people should not be considered. That's number 10. 11, reform of the secret services. There should be no secret services. It should be transparent police. Basically, everything the police do in these territories that would be the future of Russia have to be public, put out there on the web for all to see, all the history they've ever done, all the names, people, faces. It all has to be transparent if we want to make the world a better place. Like the Bible says in the last judgment, they will be yelling on rooftops, the things that we've all done. Okay? And it also says, judge not and you will not be judged. 12, mandatory peace and human rights education. Yes, education. I'm an educator. Russian children in school criteria should be teaching about the wrongs of military aggression, colonialism, genocide, and the morality and legally prohibit these things and why it's wrong, and examination. Other cultures did that. And, I think quite successfully. I don't have to name them, but, European countries have done wrong in the past. And this education and awareness increase have made these places delightful fairy tale places that they were to begin with. So this education system, promotion of critical thinking. I like chess, chess clubs, logic, debate, teach strategy, patience, cooperation, nonviolence as resolution. My goodness. I don't know too many like radical chess players. Most of the chess players I know are Minecrafters, or Roblox players. The kids, they're just peaceful kids having fun. And this is the way of the future. A way to self-actualize yourself is through gaming, strategy, and dare I say it, chess. Okay, I love chess. That was number 14. 15. Again, this is my peace plan. My peace plan to promote peace between Ukraine and Russia for Thanksgiving. Or whenever, Christmas, New Year's. 15. Arts, music, and cultural healing. Large-scale support for children's choirs, classes, theater, storytelling. Communities processing trauma. Celebrate diversity and rebuild trust. I mean, what do you guys have wrong with that? 16. Protection and restoration of the cultural heritage. Damaged churches, museums, libraries, archives. Monuments are restored. Stolen cultural objects are tracked and returned. 17. Dismantling weapons of mass destruction. All Russian nuclear capability and biological capabilities should be basically dismantled. 100%. Create a void, a vacuum, make it peaceful, sow the swords into plows. Does anybody have a wrong problem with that? That's number 17. 18. Strengthening global non-proliferation. New and stricter global agreements to prevent future development of weapons. Because we're on an acceleration course. Like I've said, it's just not nuclear, it's biologicals. This really has to be in the responsibility of peaceful minds, scientists, maybe PhDs and bright minds, or non-bright minds, whoever. God made so many common people because that's who he loves. But people have the sense of morality, not, despots and, political foot soldiers. 19. Environmental restoration and green transition. War-damaged lands have to be cleaned up, mines and removed, and just rebuilding this on a ecological, natural environment. It's going to take many, many years to heal the land that's been destroyed in Donbass and the occupied regions and all of Ukraine. And it should be a global responsibility. Like I said, we are all one body. Even the Bible says that. You can read Corinthians. 20. Support for refugees and displaced persons. All displaced persons, Ukrainians and others, are given rights and returned safely to the place that they choose and to resettle. It's not about race. It's about, do you culturally identify? And Ukraine is about peace, democracy, and its rich cultural heritage as Ukrainian in a peaceful way. Now, I'd make exception if there were, let's say somebody who was a crazy supporter of the Tsarist regime and the aggression, maybe they would lose the right to be in Ukraine. It's debatable. Okay, so that's number 20. And all these displaced people all around the world should be treated with respect because you wouldn't want to be one of them. 21. Long-term security agreements. That is a no-brainer. Ukraine and neighboring countries, credible, real defensive cooperation. 22. Free information and independent media. Sure. Think about what I said. It's this truth that sets us free. A lot of intelligent people in the world, but how many of those have strayed from the truth? Because there's a difference between truth and intelligence. And when you expose things, bring it to light, like invaders of the body, then the immune system can attack it. But if you hide it, cloud it, confuse the issues, which is Moscow's idea, then the immune system has trouble fighting it off. And we are all one body, one humanity. 22. Human rights protection and civil society. Strong legal protection and funding for, human rights defenders, NGOs, independent unions, community organizations across the region. And I do like decentralization. 4. No hatred, no racism, no collective guilt. Responsibility is placed on the decision makers, the perpetrators, not ordinary people. Racism, hate speech, violence against Ukrainians, Russians, and all minorities are rejected and actively countered. 25. Intercultural exchanges and peace programs. Youth exchanges, joint orchestras, art festivals, academic cooperation. Like I said, in my classes, there were Russians, there were Ukrainians. They all had warm feelings. They got along well before all this hostilities and before the wars. And It's got to return somehow to that. I know it's going to take a long process of healing. Economic justice and social protection. Number 26, reconstruction in Ukraine and reforms in Russia, successor states prioritize fair wages, social safety nets, inclusion of growth rather than oligarchic enshrinement and enrichment. 27, permanent monitoring and review at independent international body, regularly reporting on compliance and withdrawal, reparations, human rights, disarmament, education, commitment, fully transparent way. And number 28, never again. Embedded in the laws and memory, memorials, school programs, and international legal reform ensures that large-scale aggression and imperial conquest become both politically toxic and legally impossible, so future generations can grow up arguing over chess strategies, music playlists, and not borders and wars. My name is Mark Biernat. I hope somebody takes that seriously out there. That should be the starting point, and let's see where we can go from that. They should meet in Geneva, okay? And all the great minds and leaders of Europe and the world should meet and use that as a starting point. I know it could be improved. Again, peace, and let's focus on making the world a better place through non-aggression. My name is Mark Biernat. I'm a monetary economist. Have a beautiful day. Thank you very much.